Hello there, I'm Zainuddin and you are now watching TVS News at 5. Now let's get on with today's news. The caretaker couple responsible for the missing 4-year-old Eric Chang were charged in Kuching's magistrate court with the murder of Eric, who was reported to be missing since March 7. Now, Wendy Chai Sui Zhen and husband Ling Kok Liang were heavily escorted into the court by police. The charge under Section 302 of the Penal Code carries the death penalty upon conviction. Both accused will be remanded without bail until their case is being transferred to the High Court for trial.
Wendy Chai Sui Zhen and husband Ling Kok Liang had been in police custody since March 10 to facilitate investigation of the missing child. Earlier today, Kuching Police Chief ACP Azman Bajah said the investigation paper into the case has been completed and found satisfactory motive and findings for the case to proceed to court.
Kita telah komplitkan kertas siasatan kita dan pejabat program negara bersetuju dengan cadangan-cadangan yang kita ada, hasil siasatan yang telah pun lengkap untuk menuduh kedua-dua penjaga ini, pasangan penjaga pada pagi ini.
One of the accused was also charged with drug abuse and theft. In addition, police also confiscated a compact car, closed-circuit television CCTV recordings, 3 mobile phones and other paraphernalia believed to be involved in the case.
Pada saya, ini satu kes yang sangat tragik. Seorang kanak-kanak yang berumur 4 tahun menjadi mangsa yang sepatutnya dijaga oleh penjaga ini dan siapapun yang terlibat. Akhirnya menjadi salah seorang mangsa jenayah.
On March 7, Eric Chang was reported missing by her mother around 7:42 p.m. at the Bintawak police station after he went missing since 9 a.m. on the same day. He was last seen at his caretaker's house in Bintawak. Initially, the police opened an investigation paper under Section 31(1) of the Child Act 2001. The case then took a dark turn on March 13 when the case was reclassified under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder, prompting the police to conduct a multi-agency search and rescue operation at Muara Tebas to find the missing child. However, the body of Eric Chang has yet to be found.
Now, micro business owners and traders in Muka are thrilled with the country's transition to the endemic phase this coming April 1st, with hopes that the relaxation in certain standard operating procedures or SOPs may shine some light on their businesses, which was halted for 2 years. The transition, announced by the Prime Minister, is well received by everyone in hopes that the change will not only boost the state's economy, but also the country's economic activity, as it has been a bruising time for the industry as the pandemic brought business to a slowdown.
Fadzila Zafarin, who is the secretary of Muka Traders and Small Traders Association, hopes that the transition would be fruitful for traders.
Kami rasa gembira sebab kita dah beralih dari fasa pandemik kepada endemik supaya akan lebih makmurlah, tempat kita lebih sihat, lebih banyak pelanggan-pelanggan yang akan datang mengunjungi kami di Muka First Street dan peniaga-peniaga sini dapat menaikkan sikit ekonomi. Nasiklah awam dah terkekang lagi kedak sebelum pandemik, masa time pandemik dulu. Kita dah melalui zaman susahnya pandemik dulu, kita simak melalui time lagi. Jadi sama-sama kita berjaga diri, sama-sama kita jaga patuhi SOP yang sedia ada. Dah lama dah kita belajar macam ni juga, kita ikutilah nok ni yang baik, nok ni yang bagus ya. Dah cuci tangan apa semua dah kerap-kerap ya, kena cuci je lah tangan, jaga penjarakan ya, of course. Sentiasa amalkan dalam hidup kita, saya tahu dengan kuman ada sia situ, virus ada sia situ. Jaga diri, jaga kesehatan.
For trader Musa Jamali, despite the relaxation of SOPs, traders shouldn't be complacent.
Bagi saya syukurlah kerana kita dah beralih ke pasar dinamik mulai 1 April kan. 1 April mudah-mudahanlah rezeki saya berniaga kecil-kecilan ini bertambah. Macam dulu-dulu. Sebab sekarang pun dah cik berapa lagi jualan kan. Mudah-mudahanlah bila beralih pasar endemik kelak, perniagaan saya akan maju. seperti biasa. Walaupun kita beralih ke pasar endemik, kita mesti patuh dengan SOP yang diarahkan oleh kerajaan.
Now, MySejahtera check-ins may soon be a thing of the past if the COVID-19 transmission trend in the country remains stabilized. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the ministry would first need to monitor the pattern of mobility versus infection within the next few weeks.
He said the decision whether to continue or scrap the check-in via the MySejahtera application would be determined based on the COVID-19 infection trend, as well as the mobility data of residents and travelers when the country's borders reopen on April 1. Previously, the standard operating procedure requiring temperature checks and the manual recording of personal particulars for entry in premises was dropped from February 11. On the issue of the MySejahtera application ownership worth 338.6 million ringgit, Khairi said the Ministry of Health MOH expects to finalize negotiations with the company that operates the application software platform in about a month's time. Negotiations are being held after the MOH set up a price negotiation committee last year aimed at negotiating the procurement price and management of MySejahtera application services with the company for a period of 2 years, in line with the government's procurement procedures.
Utilities and telecommunications are two important sectors as they act as enablers towards attaining Sarawak's aspiration of being a developed state by 2030. Now, the inaugural Sarawak Utility and Telecommunications Conference, which was just officiated by Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Douglas Elliott with the details. Hello, Douglas.
The basic needs of a community is no longer just water and electricity supply. It now also includes telecommunication. At the inaugural Sarawak Utility and Telecommunication Conference, SUTC, Premier of Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, in his opening speech, regarded that connectivity between urban and rural areas as basic prerequisite, so much so that the telecommunication is recently included in the Ministry of Utility and Telecommunication portfolio. At the same time, the Premier also urged electricity and water utilities in Sarawak to adopt digitalisation to improve upon its service delivery to be in line with the state's vision of becoming a developed digital state. He noted that Sarawak is capable of expanding its own digital infrastructures and services in Sarawak through the establishment of Sarawak Multimedia Authority SMA and Sarawak Digital Economy Corporation SDEC. At present, he noted that 4G telecommunication coverage in populated areas was at 82% in 2021, whereas total electrification and water supply coverage statewide in 2021 was at 98% and 83% respectively. With the team challenges and the way forward in providing utilities and telecommunication in Sarawak by 2030, the two-day conference serves to formulate guidelines and policies as well as discussing solutions to recurring issues and challenges faced by industry players. The event is held at UCSI University from today till tomorrow with attendance of about 260 delegates. That is all I have for you now. Back to studio.
Welcome back to News at 5. Now, the Department of Veterinary Sarawak, DVS, will be holding a program for pet owners to get their pets vaccinated, licensed and microchipped for free in 2 locations. Members of the public are welcome to bring their pets to DVS headquarters in Semenggok and the Serian Multipurpose Hall from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Saturday.
Minister of Agriculture, Modernisation and Regional Development, Datuk Seri Dr. Stephen Rundi Utom, through his statement said all canine in Sarawak must be vaccinated. He reminded the dog owners or individuals who fail to adhere to the anti-rabies vaccination order without any reasonable reason will be fined not more than 2,500 ringgit under Section 40 of the Veterinary Public Health Ordinance 1999. At the same time, he also disclosed the number of vaccinated dogs across the region since Sarawak rabies was declared as a pandemic in 2017, now stands at 208,886 dogs. From the total, only 20% or 41,868 dogs have received the booster dosage. The free rabies vaccination drive is an ongoing effort by the Sarawak government, and those who have not vaccinated their dogs are welcome to the nearest veterinary clinic.
Malaysia has generated potential value for trade, investment and business leads worth more than 70 billion ringgit for 26 weekly programs at Expo 2020 Dubai. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the total value was derived through 131 memoranda of understanding or joint venture agreements and business inquiries involving a total of 4,558 meetings, including business matchings.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister said Malaysia is currently on the right track to seek for new investments on the back of the current political stability. He said that during his visit to several ASEAN countries, Malaysia was able to secure new investment commitments from countries such as Vietnam, Cambodia and Thailand. Ismail Sabri also added that his recent visit to Qatar saw Malaysia being able to secure investments worth 5.4 billion ringgit in addition to opportunities for Petronas to participate in gas projects. He noted that many companies had signed a memorandum of cooperation at the Expo 2020 Dubai, which ran from October 1, 2021 to March 31, 2022. The Prime Minister said another proud accomplishment was that the Malaysia Pavilion had received 1.1 million visitors since the start of the Expo until March 29, 2022. Ismail Sabri said the Malaysia Pavilion with the theme Energizing Sustainability was triggered by the 12th Malaysia Plan, which sets a 5-year development plan for the country to achieve economic growth and transform it into a prosperous, inclusive and sustainable country.
And that will be all the time that we have for today's 5 p.m. news. Once again, I'm Zainuddin. It's been a pleasure.